what I set out to do was to ride across the country using a bicycle and solar energy, and to use alternative energy and human assisted transportation to film what's happening across North America. And that's what I set out to do, and to share it with you through the eyes or through the looking glass or glasses of sustainability. And that's what I wanted to happen from the get-go. And I hope that you're seeing that. And you know, it just wasn't about alternative energy and green buildings and sustainable business, and that's not what this project was about. Not once was this project ever laid out to be like that. What I set out to do was to look with a non-biased opinion or approach, look at what's going on in North America and talk to the people in North America, in small towns, throughout every community, and get to know them a bit as I went through this process, and build relationships and see what's really happening and see what people's perspectives are about all topics in life, and what can we do as a human race to become sustainable. And there's been a lot of things that have hit me and here recently, and my whole perspective on life has just completely changed. And it's shocked me. I didn't expect any of this to happen. I expected there to be a spiritual journey. I expected this to be a mental journey and a physical journey, and that I would be able to share it with you. But there's been perspectives about so many topics that have changed, and that's exactly what I wanted to happen, because I've been present and been in the moment and listened to my heart and my gut, my conscience, and been available to be used. Those kinds of things have happened. Somebody's coming up here. So they just came back and gave me this cheesy broccoli soup with crackers and a spoon to eat. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is what I'm talking about. This is what it means. This is community. This and the whole project, the revelation that's happened this whole time, to me anyway, and people ask me this, and this is the answer I give them when they ask me, what's the questions they ask me is, what's your revelation been? What's three things that have changed, or give me revelations. And it's always something like this. I've never doubted in the human spirit. Not once have I thought that the human spirit is lost or gone, or I've never thought that there wasn't a good heart in everybody. The big revelation is this. The big revelation is that if we are to have a sustainable human race, and we are to make ourselves somehow sustainable, it's going to take more than building LEED certified buildings. It's going to take more than using solar and wind energy and using alternative energies. It's going to take more. It's not even those things that's going to make us sustainable. Yes, we will be using those types of technologies and concepts and ideas in the future, but and in greater capacity, and we would have been much sooner in the evolution of our knowledge base, but that's not what it is. What it is it's communities who have put aside their biases. It's people within communities, within groups, that have put aside their biases, their ideas, and their own desires and put aside greed and the need for profiting or for money, and it simply have said, we're going to get along over a topic. For example, I interviewed the mayor at Greensburg, Kansas, and he said that they came together over this tornado, obviously, and the community decided that they were just going to have to work together. And I asked him what advice he would give to communities who don't have a major disaster that have forced them to come together all at one time. His answer was something like this. I'll paraphrase, and you can go and watch it when I get that video edited. There will be a link in the description here, but his answer was something like this: every community has an emergency. Every community has something that is an emergency within that community, and they need to realize it and come together over it. For example, things like failing infrastructure, like water lines that need replaced or need added on to, public service things that need fulfilled, like fire department equipment, or etc., or school systems that need overhauled because they're failing. And we all have these emergencies, and we must put aside our biases and come together over it. And the big revelation is that within our communities, within our tight-knit little towns, or our apartment complexes, or our little communities that are inside cities, or within our cities, or within our states, within our larger regions, we must come together and we must put aside our biases, or we will not be sustainable as a human race. That's just simply the way it is. There's no other way around it. And it doesn't have anything to do with things like energy policies and building codes and all of these things, because if we come together and build relationships that help us to advance our knowledge base rather than to challenge each other over it and to hold each other back because we're disagreeing on topics, even things like corporate profits. I understand that we need to have systems that cause competition so that we can grow, but at the same time there are things like immoral, unethical things that are happening, and they are stifling our creativity and our growth and our innovation as a human race. And when we fight over things and we challenge each other over things that are just pointless to challenge each other over, and we can't just decide to get along, we won't be sustainable. It doesn't matter what kind of energy policies we have, and it doesn't matter how we build our buildings. But if we choose to put aside our differences and come together over those things, then we'll make the right choices when it comes to energy policies, and because greed will be out of the way. And then you say, well, how do we put aside our differences and how do we get rid of greed? You might tell me that you don't think that's going to happen, and I say, you might be right. I don't know. It might not happen, but we got to try. Don't you think? Because what else are we going to do? I don't know. It's just food for thought. I'd like to have some answers. I think we need to hurry up and figure it out. Not just in our country, but around the world, we need to figure it out. I have a lot of hope. And I know that there's a higher power that's in control. And I believe that with my whole heart. But that doesn't mean we give up. That doesn't mean we stop trying. I don't know. These are a lot of the thoughts that I've been having, and a lot of the things that I've started to be, been talking about with people as I've been going through this trek, and thought it was time to share it.